Violent conflict and climate-related shocks are the main drivers of food insecurity and malnutrition globally, with the highest number of people affected in Asia put at 520 million and 243 million people are affected in Africa. That's according to the State of the Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2017 report. The prevalence of undernourishment, however, remains highest in Africa.
We must support governments, not only in making nutrition a priority, but in developing and implementing policies, programs, and systems that help deliver nutrition to the children at gravest risk, no matter where they live. That must include continuous care for children suffering from all forms of malnutrition, integrating nutrition across other programs like immunization campaigns and early childhood development efforts, where nutrition plays such a vital role in brain development. Increased support for breastfeeding, especially in the first 6 months of life, and better data about excluded children, nutrition, hunger, and food insecurity in every society.
Of course, there are what has been described as admirable work underway in sub-Saharan Africa by governments, non-governmental organizations and donor agencies to improve nutrition in the region. It was discovered that these efforts are often hampered by 4 key shortcomings. The International Center for Tropical Agriculture says these efforts are often hampered by 4 key shortcomings. Responses are reactive, not proactive. Interventions are limited to the households and community level, while decision makers lack the data to combat malnutrition. And the signs for malnutrition may not become apparent until a food crisis erupts.
We've been thinking at CIAT and with our partners, what would resilience look like for nutrition? And this came up because we were having a conversation around the cycles, the repeated cycles of food crises in Africa and parts of Asia. And so we started to ask, could we possibly move away from always reacting or responding to crises to be more proactive and using predictive models to preempt the occurrence of food crises? And what would those models look like? What indices should we be developing and what should we be looking out for? How early could we predict and who would use that information?
So to overcome these shortcomings, the International Center for Tropical Agriculture is focusing on the use of data, big data. It is developing a new innovation in the fight for food and nutrition security called the Nutrition Early Warning System, or NEWS. It says this will focus initially on boosting nutrition in sub-Saharan Africa, but eventually NEWS will target vulnerable populations globally. The system will initially analyze the nutritional status of populations in selected countries in sub-Saharan Africa to find options for successful interventions. The tool can then mine the data to provide 2 key outputs: an early warning system to alert decision makers to nutrition threats well ahead of a crisis, ongoing surveillance to provide multiple options for nutrition interventions, and to build resilience within national and regional food systems.
We're using existing data to identify the most important causal factors through our econometric researchers. And then we're using that to kind of seed a computational model that's looking at community resilience. So our computational team is building household resilience curves and really trying to understand how different households are making resource decisions and trying to build a landscape of the different communities that we're working in. So we're piloting this in Nigeria and Kenya, and the goal is to identify places that are at risk of malnutrition and to address it before a crisis happens. The goal is making this happen before we get to crises.
Algorithm is used daily to decipher patterns in every sector. Now, scientists believe these systems are well suited to help tackle food and nutrition problems.
You know, with the emergence of new technologies, with the increased penetration of mobile technology and the usage of them, we create digital traces. Every time you use your mobile phone, telecom operators can know where you are, the way you move throughout the day, the way, you know, how much money you spent via, and you transfer on mobile money, how you use your phone. Just that gives a lot of rich information that, aggregated and anonymized, can give insights on mobility patterns that can monitor long-distance transmission of infectious diseases, for example. It can give information about spending behavior, which can be correlated with expenditures on food. And what I mean with not traditional data sources is these private data sources that is either accumulated based on the use of digital technologies or through sensors, satellite imagery, etc., that at the moment is mostly held and in the hands of the private sector, and which we need to unlock.
Extreme climate events can undermine agriculture and rural development, even in years when extreme events do not occur. The uncertainty that results from climate-related risk is an impediment to sustainable intensification of agriculture and adaptation of climate-smart agricultural production practices. In an era of more frequent and more extreme weather events and climate shocks, enhanced early warning systems provide a key opportunity to curb erosion of development progress in rural sectors.
We need our digital technology playmakers to succeed and help us score more goals. My vision is to help farmers unlock their entrepreneurial potential and maximize their value. In our lifetimes, Africa's farmers should have the freedom to invest and engage in any part of the agriculture value chain, not because they must, but because they wish to. They will do away with back-breaking, labor-intensive on-farm activities. They will make well-informed choices about more nutritious diets, and malnutrition will be eliminated. Agriculture will no longer be perceived as the last resort of the poor. It will be a vibrant business sector flooded with private capital.
The potential use of early warning systems is extremely diverse, depending on the nature of the warning and the range of responses for all the potential users of early warning information. Broadening the range of users appears to be one of the most promising ways to expand the contribution of early warning to climate-resilient agricultural development in Africa. Providing information at longer lead times would expand the range of decisions that early warning systems could inform.
Talking about the low level of data collection, the lack of high-resolution data across Africa's landscapes, I could also tell you about the lack of open and free data policies, which stifle innovation and experimentation, in some cases create internal inefficiencies and duplications amongst government agencies and research institutions. I could also tell you about the challenge of getting researchers to share data languishing in the bowels of their computer hard drives. These challenges need to be acknowledged and addressed. If we are to establish the full potential of the digital revolution, these challenges must be met.
However, enabling decision makers operating at local to sub-national levels to benefit from early warning information will also require investment in training and communication.
If you have ever used Google, maybe you have never wondered how it does just after you type few keywords to bring you exactly the results that you're looking for. But behind the scenes, there are artificial intelligence algorithms that are running, and that does exactly what you need them to do, and you don't know what they do, and that's basically the point. So if you use other applications as well, such that image recognition when you use your cameras, or when you use Facebook, where you get recommendations of people you should know, or people the application think that you know, it's AI algorithms that run behind. So there are more applications that closer to what we are saying here. For example, if you take fields like healthcare, which AI is completely revolutionizing right now, several diagnoses now are done by AI systems, which are on par or superior on accuracy to humans and doctors.
In addition, implications to system design confidence in early warning information is influenced by the quality of data. Quality is often compromised because early warning system is based on multiple streams of information. But experts say investments in quality and streamlining help increase confidence. Experts say food security is a complex condition requiring a holistic approach to all forms of malnutrition, the productivity and incomes of small-scale food producers, resilience of food production systems, and the sustainable use of biodiversity and genetic resources. That's our program for today. Thank you for watching. You can get in touch with us by writing to earthfile@channelstv.com. From all of us here in Lagos, it's bye for now.